The first level of the fort isn't used very much anymore. This was the original entrance. Used to have a trade depot here. Doesn't get used anymore. Mostly because the roof got punched in about 30 seconds by a giant eagle that tried to kill everyone. We didn't have hatches over the door at that point, so things got really scary for a few minutes. Moving down, there's a couple of Kea corpses here, which is interesting. These are little, basically like parrot birds that like to come in and steal my shit. So this is the first proper level of the fortress. This is the gatehouse, trade depot, and barracks. So this is the drawbridge that caused the infamous incident of 104, when the fortress leader went to inspect the brand new drawbridge that I was learning how to use, and unfortunately crushed himself and 3 others. About 2 minutes later, I also managed to kill a further 4 by also crushing them with the drawbridge. So we took a tremendous number of casualties who are now memorialized here in the entrance hall. So like Figgle Fathgasek, you know, he just went missing. We don't know where he ended up. Truth is, he got turned into pulp. This is our trade depot. I was hoping to do all iron floor. You'll notice that the floors in this fortress are all just completely fucked. The other thing on this floor, besides other than the drawbridge and trade depot and stairs deeper, is the barracks. This is the home of my primary squad, the Emerald Gears, and then their barracks here. So they come here and train. They should have a bunch of weapons and other equipment stored in these chests. In any case, so that's the gatehouse. This is a very old level. It was one of the first ones I dug. This was our initial farming level. It's since been abandoned and turned into kind of a place to collect trash. This is the other really old level of the fortress. This is kind of what I would call the kitchen level. It's sort of a shit show. You can see the floor is just covered in fungus. But it's home to a lot of my kind of outdoorsy workshops. My carpenter is set up here, or at least my original carpenter. We do some fertilizer production. We also run a little bit of farming here, mostly for plump helmets to make sure we have enough material for our liquor production. A little bit of kind of bonus storage over here. Some extra carpenters to make sure that we're actually getting stuff made. Down to this level, which I would call kind of the town hall level. This is the newest of the stone levels. There's a big stone dining room here that's been carved out. Our newer tavern, which is the Rosy Diamond. And then here you can see these are kind of the nicest bedroom sets I make. This is a nobleman's bedroom, though I don't think it's currently set up. But he has his own bedroom, his own little dining room, and then a little office. You can see one that's a little bit more filled in here. This guy has an armor stand and some other stuff. This is for the captain of the guard. Then over here, I've got some guild halls. This is an access corridor to my cistern right here. You don't really need to worry about it yet. So this is guild hall. It's called the Grooved Tools, and it's it's the guild hall for the Gloved Hall, my crafts dwarf guild. This is the Enjoyable Corridors, which is the Goldenrod Guild. They're, I think, my Farmer Guild. Yeah. And then here is the Cloudy Hall, and their guild hall, the Eternal Gates. And they're my Planter Guild Hall. And you can see I'm still kind of filling this stuff in. The next level is perhaps the most developed. It's the bedroom level. This is the one that I screwed up the most, I think. It is huge and sprawling. It's got stairs at a couple of places for folks to access. I figured getting all the bedrooms on one level would make life a little easier for navigation. I'm not sure that really worked out. The other problem is that Because I built this relatively high up into the mountain, many of these bedrooms just have dirt walls and dirt floors, which people don't always love. I have a relatively happy fortress, but a lot of people are kind of pissed about these shitty bedrooms. So I might need to build a new floor of bedrooms at some point. This was sort of absurd. I've been working on this for basically the last 8 years. I've been kind of building blocks of bedrooms probably once yearly or so. And in fairness, it's because our population has ballooned really fast. I think that's because I send a lot of products back to the motherland and don't really buy that much from the merchant. I'm not sure. The next level down is what I would call the main level. This was the first level that I dug out after the farm level. This is my primary workshop level. You can see the kind of original concept I was working with, which was a big stockpile surrounded by workshops that all had a direct access to it. I've since switched to sort of isolated workshops with a hallway linking them directly to a stockpile. This is my magma industry down here. I'm planning on expanding it at some point, but this is where I manufacture a lot of weapons, smelt my metals, etc. This is my original tavern, which is pretty heavily developed. It's the Tummies of Bronze, which is a fantastic name. The other tavern up on Town Hall level, I added because we just didn't have enough tavern, is the Rosy Diamond, which is a fantastic name. I have a little block of offices. This was for my expedition leader and bookkeeper originally. I've since expanded these two and kind of changed their purpose. This one here is going to become a hospital. I'm actually doing a whole bunch of work to try to get them fresh water down here. The one next to it is going to be a bathhouse with a soap making workshop in it. Here we've got our temple. It is the Scoured Temple. This was our first temple we ever built. It's a generic temple where folks can come and worship any god. It's also where I store all of my memorial stones to dwarves who have died. It's not all of my memorial stones. There's a few to other things. But for dwarves, this is where we put everything. Tirist Idtalin died in 107. I don't remember what happened to him. I think the rock ate him. But nobody saw it, so we have no idea. Then I've got 4 other temples on this level. The Eastern Treasure Temple, which is to our merchant god Idrast. Temple of Iron, who is to Aze, I want to say, is how to pronounce that. He's kind of like our father god. The Torrid Shrine, I didn't notice that name. This is for Nar the Fatal Grave, who is our god of death. And then the Copper Chapel to Rawl, who is our god of war. And then there's another little one way over here, kind of tucked in. The Church of Aquamarine, who worships Zolbaim the Earthen, who is our earth god. The other big feature in this kind of little corner is my library and its bookbinding shop. So the Honest Palace is the name of my library. I've got a whole bunch of scribes working here. They haven't actually written any books yet, but they're working on it. This, like I said, is my bookbinding workshop, so they make paper and bookbindings here, and then presumably they'll make the books. This up here is another mistake of mine, I think. It is a giant tomb complex, which, quite a few have been used, but it is far too big. I think I was a little bit paranoid building this many. So this is sort of the main hub. These stairs are certainly the main hub. This is how you get around most places. This is sort of a utility level. This is where I dug out for magma processing. I originally tried to build the forge up here, but I screwed up. You're supposed to dig the hole to access magma along the periphery. So this became the magma viewing chamber. It's probably a terrible security risk if any magma creature decides to swim up into my fortress, but whatever. It looks cool. And I have a shit ton of statues, so I may as well put a Gabbro statue of a moose. This is the corridor where, when I dug it, I unfortunately had a cat get burned. So, RIP. This is my dungeon. I haven't really done much with it because who cares? The only people who've been putting in it are people who have violated like the mayor's order. Down here is a cistern that I'm going to fill with rainwater. At the moment, it's empty. The idea with this little concoction, this kind of U-shaped wall, is that as water runs in, it will end up down here, which is right where my hospital's well is. And then once that's full, I can open this floodgate to store any additional water further on. This is kind of the last main level of the fortress. This was originally just like a rock mine. I was just kind of digging it out to make space and get some rocks to craft things with. It's since become home to my last temple, which is the Church of Diamond, dedicated to the Heart of Rock, who is rad as fuck. What an incredible name for a god. It is home to the other memorial slabs that I have set up, which are to the various creatures that I've killed. I'm going to unpause for a second so this gentleman will move off of the engraved stone, because I want to show off both of these. First one is Atolzas. She's the giant that I watched die. The hilarious thing about her stone is that it mentioned she's a devoted mother. This was like a 20-foot tall giant that was running around outside my fortress screaming, and then died to a subsequently legendary panda. It was pretty ludicrous. The other stone is dedicated to the rock, that has an absurd name, which I kind of love, Sitsu. And his big note is that he was the slayer of the human Bucklespread. I don't know who Bucklespread is, but he must have been pretty cool. So then we have a bunch of storage, and like manufacturing here. I make a ton of rock crafts to sell. Over here is our new farm complex. Somewhat frustratingly, they're not using bins to store all this food in for some reason. I don't know what's going wrong. But we grow a bunch of food here, and now we need to go about 120 levels straight down. So you're going to see a whole bunch of mining on the minimap that I've been doing. I've mostly been doing really exploratory mining. I don't really know how to mine properly in this game, so I'm just kind of digging passageways and like finding shit. Which is, you know, it's turned out okay. I've got some valuable rocks laying around. I also do hatches every so often because I'm tired of troglodytes and shit wandering up and trying to kill me. But as you can see, I've barely exploited the mountain. Even as I'm going through all these levels, I've barely touched them. I've done some deep digging down here. And then around, I think it's 104, yeah, we start breaking into this really big, really complex cavern that has just like a real nightmare topology. And it's down here. Let's see here, I'll just hit my hotkey. That the stairs get all the way down. We have a little bottom floor area. We've dug a little deeper down, but it hit more of the same cavern. This was originally going to be a farm area, since caverns are really good. Oh, hey, something's on fire over here. I wonder what the fuck happened. Probably Godzilla, if I'm honest. So, I've walled everything off and built doors in front of everything down here, because this area is just fucking terrifying. There's fucking spiders everywhere and shit. It's really good for some things, but I am too much of a babby to really understand everything going on down here. So, that's my fortress so far. It's kind of a giant piece of shit, but I've been learning a lot with it. And I feel like 150 is a pretty respectable population, so I don't know. Anyhow, thanks for watching.